Good afternoon. I am Carol Strohecker, Dean of the College of Design, and I'd like to welcome you to the college's 2018 commencement ceremony. Please join me in singing 2 verses of Hail Minnesota, led by University of Minnesota alumna Rachel Farhi. The words are printed on the inside cover of your program.
Thy light shall banners waving far. At thy call, thy throng, with their shout and song, hailing thee the northern star.
Thank you, Rachel, for making us all sound so good. Please be seated. I am pleased to welcome all of you to our ceremony today and to welcome to the stage University Regent Kendall Powell, Executive Vice President and Provost Karen Hansen, and Vice Provost and Dean of Undergraduate Education, Bob McMaster. I also want to welcome my faculty colleagues, almost 50 of whom have joined us for this, our 12th graduation ceremony as the College of Design. Let me welcome as well our college's deans, Marilyn DeLong, Associate Dean for Research and Academic Affairs, Kate Maple, Assistant Dean for Student Services, and Trevor Miller, Assistant Dean for Strategy and Advancement, as well as our department heads, Mark Swackhammer, School of Architecture, Joe Favor, Department of Landscape Architecture, and Missy Bai, Department of Design, Housing, and Apparel. I'm so glad so many of you have turned out to celebrate this important event as we send off the College of Design's newest graduates. I would also like to thank the 25 staff and volunteers who have helped make this vibrant commencement ceremony possible. Graduates, this day marks the commencement of your lives, fully enacting the skills, knowledge, and values developed through your pursuits at the College of Design. Today is also a milestone in your tenure as a member of this creative community. This is the day you commence your lives as alumni of the College of Design. As you head out to your new jobs, studies, and adventures, we want you to know that you will always be welcome here. We will always think of you as part of this community. We hope you will come back to participate in crits and events. We hope you will come back to tell us how we did and what we should do to adjust our curricula in ongoing response to changes you see in the world. We hope you will come back when you want to learn more. Please know that you will always be welcome here, and we will always think of you as part of our community. Not only do we want to hear from you, we want to hear about you. We want to hear from your friends, family, colleagues, and employers. We want to hear how College of Design graduates are addressing grand challenges. We want to hear how our graduates stand out among teams in their workplaces. That College of Design graduate is the one who knows how to probe a situation and inquire among people involved, to identify what people are really trying to ask, to go beyond symptoms and find the real problem. The College of Design graduate thrives on heeding and synthesizing diverse perspectives. A thoughtful and generous collaborator, the College of Design graduate elevates critique as a reframing of questions, leading the design process toward broadly beneficial, long-lasting results. If you were graduating from medical school, the ritual would involve reciting the Hippocratic Oath. You would pledge to help your patients and, at least, to do no harm. Designers do not yet have a professional oath, but we do have a creed. We believe that our creative process is a powerful way not just to solve problems, but to generate solutions. And we recognize that with that power comes responsibility to work toward the greater good. The College of Design graduate generates the built, the made, the conveyed, and purveyed, and in doing so considers the entire chain and processes from supply to manufacture, to distribution and use, to reuse and recycling. We want you to ensure that ethical practices envelop each step along the way to realizing your designs, to think beyond sustainability to resilience, and beyond resilience to regeneration, to make our descendants proud and to facilitate their viability 2, 3, 6, 7 generations from now. At Welcome Week each year, those entering the college as freshmen see a film called Powers of 10. Made long before Google Earth, this film shows how views shift as orders of magnitude change. We zoom from a picnic in a park all the way to outer space. Then we zoom back to the picnic and peer into a person's hand, into the cells, molecules, atoms, and quarks. The College of Design graduate understands the power of scale shifting, of understanding implications not only from different perspectives, but along different spatial and temporal scales. The College of Design graduate looks for patterns, knowing, for example, that the structure of human veins and arteries is reminiscent of the watery branches of a river delta, the vascular bundles in leaves of a tree, and the fibrous system of its roots. College of Design graduates respect the interconnectedness of things, designing not only things, but conditions in, with, and through which things will emerge. We are as interested in the string as in the pearls. We conceive built environments at interrelated scales of room, building, neighborhood, and urban and rural experiences. We devise the architecture of clothing at the levels of garment, ensemble, collection, and wardrobe. We create extensions of the body at the scales of digits and limbs, head and torso, considering effective distances of seeing and sensing, running and pitching, empathizing and communicating. We understand that systems flourish when diverse perspectives interact. We do no harm. We do not pollute. We do not exploit. We think about the lasting value of things we create. College of Design graduates, remember that you will always be welcome here, and we will always think of you as part of this community. Now I'd like to introduce two members of our extended community, our commencement speakers, the husband and wife team of Nancy Skolos and Thomas Waddell. They work to diminish the boundaries between graphic design and photography, creating collaged three-dimensional images influenced by cubism, technology, and architecture. Nancy and Tom are among my heroes. Their collaboration is based on love for each other, passion for ideas, knowledge of design history, and respect for cultural movements. Skolos has said that the poster format is like a threshold into another world. It frames an idea. It lets you play with amazing scale shifts. Waddell explains that through their compositions, he and his partner explore the translation between three-dimensional form making and the two-dimensional surface. Their work spans concerns reflected in College of Design programs. The pair's work came into its own during the 1980s, when emerging computer technologies enabled and inspired opportunities for making the invisible visible. Skolos and Waddell's surreal photographic concepts, combined with rational typographic structures, gave voice to abstract concepts, such as software. A 1993 iMagazine feature on the Skolos-Waddell studio labeled their attitude techno-cubist. Over the span of their career, while their approach has evolved and their client base has expanded, their passion for experimentation with photography and design has remained the foundation of their vision. Skolos and Waddell have authored 2 books, Type, Image, Message, and Graphic Design Process. Their work has received numerous awards, including gold, silver, and bronze prizes in the Warsaw, Lahti, and Toyama poster biennials and triennials. They have been widely published and exhibited, with posters included in the graphic design collections of the Museum of Modern Art, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Cooper Hewitt Smithsonian Design Museum, the Library of Congress, the Victoria and Albert Museum, the Israel Museum, and the Museum für Gestaltung. Skolos is an elected member of the Alliance Graphique Internationale and a Boston AIGA Fellow. They have both been awarded the AIGA Medal. Nancy is a former Dean of Architecture and Design at the Rhode Island School of Design, known to many of us as RISD. Skolos and Waddell both teach graphic design at RISD and consider teaching to be as vital as practice. Welcome, Nancy and Tom.
I have it hiding in my sleeve.
Yeah.
It's very convenient here.
I don't know if your gowns have these extra storage compartments.
We like them. You
They
can
come in
keep-
handy.
It's like an extra purse. So congratulations on making this celebratory day. And I really want to say that to the graduates, because I know how hard it is to get through school, what you had to go through, and think of yourselves as extremely successful at this point. It's a tremendous honor for us to be here, and today you are realizing one of your lifetime goals. Nancy and I teach, as Carol mentioned, we teach graphic design at the Rhode Island School of Design, where coincidentally the Talking Heads got their start. And we thought, just as a kind of thematic way of connecting our ideas, we would use their famous song, Once in a Lifetime, as a way of connecting our ideas about our own personal lives.
So you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here? Many of you came to the University of Minnesota's College of Design through careful research and chose to study here based on its reputation, programs, and curriculum. Others, like myself, may have made their way to college on a less calculated trajectory. I grew up in Lima, Ohio. My dad was a commercial artist, and my mom taught junior high music at the same school I attended. Her music room was in the wing of the school that also housed industrial arts, home economics, and art. And most of the teachers in that area of the school were considered to be a bit idiosyncratic, and she was no exception. She was known for giving away the answers to her music appreciation tests, dancing around the room like a swan to Tchaikovsky's Swan Lake, and dropping hints like, I bet I've told you this 1,812 times. My dad worked at a company that manufactured point-of-purchase plastic signs. The outdoor division made gas station and fast food signs, and he worked in the indoor division designing and engineering glowing cubes and spheres, advertising soft drinks and beers. He desperately wanted me to pursue art, so I dutifully took art all through school and occasionally a Saturday class. But even though I admired the trappings of commercial art, the immense drafting boards, the airbrushes, the paints and pastels, my mother's world of music was even more fascinating. Her choirs put on elaborate shows, and I loved the beautiful shapes of the instruments, the graphic language of the music notation, and the elegant music book covers. So my high school years were spent practicing to be a professional clarinetist. But my auditions for music school were a disaster. One day I came home to a whole mailbox full of rejection letters. I'd been rejected from all but one of the schools, and the one that I hadn't heard from had definitely been my worst audition. So in a moment of despair, I called admissions. Would you send my application for the music school over to the design school, I asked. What kind of design do you want, they asked. What kind do you have? And that was the beginning of my career in design.
Need the script. Okay. You may say to yourself, my God, what have I done? Sometimes we're just lost. We wonder if we can accomplish the next task in front of us, let alone the larger goals in life. And you may not even realize the role partnering with others has played. This is important. in your school experience and how it will assist you in the future endeavors. Collaboration with your families, professors, classmates has been so critical in defining this moment. Now, the challenge moving forward is to design your own program, choose your own location, find your own collaborators, and not get lost in the confusion and indecision that is life. You can, and often will, collaborate with others intuitively through shared ideas and experiences. I grew up in Michigan, on the wide expanse of Lake Michigan. So we lived right near the beach, a lot of beach time. My brother and I were born 11 months apart, so we're very close in age. So with few distractions other than school activities and occasional movies and going to the beach on occasion, we retreated into our room and invented our own worlds. Working at first with basic art materials, paper, paint, scissors, glue, we would, over the years, advance to more sophisticated and somewhat unconventional, and I might add, terrifying for our parents, materials and processes, such as constructing a 3-foot submarine from sheets of metal and plastic and wood components. We learned to research our subjects very well. For example, we would go to the local piano store and take intimate measurements of every piano so that we could recreate them in miniature from wood grain printed or gloss painted papers or cardboard. We once constructed a miniature auto assembly line from random pieces of wood and board to understand how Chrysler was building the then popular unibody cars. We were lost in worlds of our own creation, but the essential element, and this is the thing I want you to remember, the essential element in all our endeavors was our ability to collaborate. To see the connections between our ideas, our miniature interpretations of objects, and the world at large.
Okay, you may ask yourself, am I right, am I wrong? So with formative experiences and personal influences, we arrive at college trusting that these will be expanded through deep study in our major, but at times assignments can be puzzling and even incomprehensible. For me, the most perplexing lessons were those concerned with learning to see. As a student at Yale, my classmates and I were shocked at the remedial quality of the graduate graphic design curriculum, and to add to our bewilderment, the courses were taught by an assortment of visitors, none of whom were ever on the same page. The first week featured a color workshop with a renowned Swiss designer, where we spent the first few days under the directive to paint a perfectly smooth 10-inch gray square. As we mixed one batch of gray paint after another with no idea of what was really being asked for, the teacher periodically elbowed or bumped us off of our stools, screaming, "Too much water." Following 2 inconclusive days of painting gray, he instructed us to prepare 4 color strips exactly 4 inches by 1.5 inches. And so after another tedious 8-hour painting session, he suddenly announced, "Now, here's an idea." The whole class stampeded to the lucky student's desk to see the 4 colors: rose, rust, bright red, deep brown. Then we ran back to our desks for 2 more endless days of painting until someone else finally had an idea. This time, aqua, bright green, cobalt blue, mint. At this point, a few of us made a trip to the bursar's office to see if it was too late to get our money back. And it was. But in hindsight, I realized that because the objectives were entirely optical, they were impossible for the teacher to articulate with verbal directions. And it seems inconceivable but true that the same experience that made me want to leave the program altogether ended up being a priceless first week of a lifetime of learning to see color.
Collaboration involves recognizing that each person has strengths. You join with others with complementary strengths. The 2 of us met and began forming a mutual destiny when Nancy was an undergraduate student and I was a graduate student at Cranbrook Academy of Art. The true protagonist in this story, however, was our dedication to our work. So much so that Nancy insisted on a complete portfolio review prior to going on a date.
Highly recommend that.
Highly recommended, yes. I passed the audition, okay? This is good. And when you pass the audition, you're sweating, you know how it is. Okay, passing the review, however, I was honored to escort Nancy on our first big date to the camera store to help her pick out her new camera so that she could complete her work in graphic design. The future of our relationship would be built from our two stories and the understanding of the influential narratives of our lives.
Okay, so another story, Into the Blue Again, Into the Silent Water. Being here in Minneapolis, I can't help but remember summer vacations at my grandparents' farm in Stoddard, Wisconsin, near La Crosse, directly across the Mississippi River from here. Even though I grew up in a small town, visiting the farm made me feel like a displaced city kid. Some of my relatives didn't even have plumbing. There were outhouses and water pumps and fields planted in immense rows. And one of the most out-of-body experiences was eating strawberries right off the plant in the warm sun. Being Oscar and Helen's only grandchild, I felt an especially strong bond with them. Early in the morning, Oscar and I would sit in cold metal lawn chairs facing each other and, as with much reserve as possible, stare into each other's eyes. Because our feelings were too deep to be spoken, we took turns conjuring up the most impassioned possible gazes. In retrospect, I think these silent sessions, with sharp lumps in our throats and watery blue eyes watering, were the foundation for my knowing the singular force of visual expression. Years later, at my own Yale graduation, we had an unexpected reception in the courtyard next to the graphic design building. All of us were tired and numb from the work that led up to finishing our thesis books. There was an elaborate table of refreshments, and at the center, a bowl of champagne with floating strawberries. I lifted a glass, and before I knew what hit me, in a condensed moment of time, my eyes filled with tears. I'd tasted a warm strawberry, and I could see my grandpa's eyes.
You may ask yourself, where does this highway lead to? Thinking back on our 40 years as designers, we have gradually become more involved in the narrative of life. At first designing the stage set, props, and accompanying ephemera, now increasingly engaged to design ways of life and systems for driving the story. Get as long a view as you can. It's another important idea that we're trying to push here. Get as long a view as you can. Recognize the array of events and experiences that each of you has to draw upon that will help make sense of your lives. Those are the experiences that will prove to be the most useful tools that will build a stronger ability to grow, collaborate with others, and to recognize those larger goals you have to set for yourself.
Letting the days go by. Always remember that your story has meaning for yourself as a person to draw strength from, but also in the bigger story of design and life.
Good luck. And do great things, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy and Tom. Every year at commencement, we ask some graduating students to address their classmates, knowing that education occurs not just in the classroom alchemy between professors and students, but also in the myriad informal settings of college life among peers. This year, graduating students in the class of 2018 chose 3 fellow students as representatives. Our first speaker is Benjamin Krause, an undergraduate in the Product Design program. Our next speaker is Sean Gable, a graduate student in the Master of Architecture program. And our final speaker is Quinessa Stibbins, an undergraduate student in the Apparel Design program.
Hello and welcome. This is pretty darn cool, isn't it? I feel like I'm about to give some sort of acceptance speech at like a Hollywood awards ceremony. And tomorrow there's going to be some scathing blog post about how we all wore the same ugly black dress. The past 4 years have really just flown by, and looking back, I'm impressed and frankly amazed with how much we've grown, in large part due to many of you here today. And since I feel like I should be holding some gold statue, I'd like to start with a cliche list of thank yous. To our professors, thank you for teaching us perspective, empathy, and creativity. To the folks in the shop, for teaching us process, practical skills, and how to keep all 10 fingers. And thank you to that one student, you know who you are, who decides to sit at the scanner in the computer lab, never scanning a single document, as I stand there and wait. Thank you for teaching me patience. To my parents, thank you for your love and support, our Sunday night phone calls, and for not giving up on me as I went from the socially approved path of becoming an engineer to an I don't know what, to someone that wants to design shoes for a living. To my peers, thank you for making me feel as though I have my life somewhat put together, where at the end of every semester, I get to feel like one of those fitness influencers on Instagram, simply because I had gotten more than 4 hours of sleep and had recently eaten a vegetable. Thank you to a younger version of myself for keeping me humble. If I'm ever getting a bit too cocky, he'll remind me of some of my early sketching work, and that brings me down to earth pretty darn quickly. And to my dearest caffeine, over these past semesters, our relationship has truly grown. And while we've been seeing each other for quite some time now, you still make my heart race and hands shake ever so slightly whenever we're together. Thank you. Now here's the part of every acceptance speech where I transition from giving thank yous to like telling you how to live your life and change the world. So here is your nugget of wisdom from a 22-year-old boy wearing a silly hat. Thankfully, you're probably not English majors, so you won't realize that this is just a ripoff of a Homer quote. But if we've learned anything from our time here, it's even become a bit of a motto for me. It's to embrace the suck. Let that settle in. Embrace the suck. The process is what is important. We get value not from ending up somewhere, but by figuring out how to, and then actually getting there. I don't proudly show off my 6 perfect 2-inch wooden cubes that I made in P-form. But they did teach me the value of meticulous and precise craftsmanship. It is this struggle and making of mistakes that leads one to grow and learn, and it's why I've loved my time here so much. Nearly every class or project was a chance to go from clueless to at least mildly competent. For the longest time, I was worried that I'd burn down Rapson with a laser cutter. But there was a project where I had to use one a bunch, and while I can't put Master of Lasers on my resume header, I can make you an adorable set of custom coasters in an afternoon. So embrace the process. Embrace the suck, for the journey is its own reward. Challenge yourself, try new things, get uncomfortable, because in the end, you'll probably learn something, and if not, it'll at least make for a good story. Thank you all for being a part of my process and becoming a part of our story. Thank you.
that's a tough act to follow. I almost walked off stage. For the record, I asked them to do that. Thanks, guys. I wanted to offer you all some advice that I wish I had at the beginning of all of this. I can admit that I didn't come into grad school as good a designer as I could have been. I met with Gayla Lint, a fantastic mentor and leader of the first-year graduate studio before the first semester. And she asked me what I wanted out of grad school. And I told her I was terrified. I told her that I wanted rigor, though. I want higher expectations. I wanted something to help push me to perform where I knew that I could. Luckily, that first semester studio, Gayla and our other studio lead, the amazing Andrew Lucia, gave us a set of rules to follow and work under, something to remind us and push us towards our potential. They're simple, but I've challenged myself with these rules every single day since then, and it has made all the difference. Whether you're continuing academia or you're starting your professional career, I think returning to these lessons can be essential for success. Rule 1, be curious. One of the greatest skills we develop here is a critical eye, never being complacent with what we see, even in our own designs. Continue to question why things are the way they are and whether they really need to be that way. And what were all those long nights and paper cuts for if we aren't pursuing questions that truly give us meaning? You are your best as a designer when you're working on something that you are passionately curious about. Wherever you move on to from here, make the time to explore and figure out what you care about and set yourself up for a fruitful, fulfilling career. Continue to be curious. Rule 2, make stuff. It can be hard to maintain that as part of the process. We're moving on to a place that praises the process. We're moving from a place that praises the process to one that venerates the product. And it may not leave us with much time to critically make and sketch. There's a lot of opportunity in a drawing or model, no matter how sketchy it may be. Getting the ideas out of our heads and into reality, even in an unfinished product, is important. It's not about representation. It's about communication. It's about asking questions of your work and representing your ideas just enough so they can be read by others and yourself. This is going to be essential, not just when talking to other professionals, but to the communities, to the people that we are designing for. In a world of ever-encroaching deadlines and pressure to produce a final product, promise me that you will continue to make stuff. Rule 3, surprise yourself. How many times did I struggle with a design while thinking of where to go next? I would cross things off saying, there's no way that's going to work in a million years. But what if it does? What if that shot in a million, that seeming dead end, opens up a whole new world of design that you had no idea existed? I mean, that's kind of exhilarating, right? That's bliss. Suddenly, your project makes sense again. Suddenly, you're invigorated. Suddenly, you're curious. Suddenly, you're making stuff. These are brilliant moments. We can't predict innovation. That's why it's so important for us to continue to push into the unknown. We know this stuff. Be curious, make stuff, surprise yourself. Thanks. Congrats.
This past summer, I had the opportunity to work as an orientation leader. Orientation leaders are the behind-the-scenes hands of Welcome Week. And I remember herding first-year students into Mariucci for convocation. And at convocation, all of the students are split up by college, and they do their respective chants and show off their college pride. And now CEDAS is known for not being particularly involved in this, which makes no sense to me, because at that point, they haven't had their souls crushed by a harsh critique. They haven't spent multiple nights in the studio. They should be at their peak energy. So I wanted to change that. And there I am, making a complete fool of myself in front of the class of 2021, trying to get them pumped. CEDAS. And I got nothing. Zero energy. And I can only assume that this standoffish demeanor is because they haven't experienced all that CEDAS has to offer. And they don't have that pride just yet. And probably because I scared them a little bit, so. Anyway, on the way in, each student got a sealed envelope. And later in the program, President Kaler told them to open their envelopes, and inside was their class of 2021 tassel. And they looked totally and completely unenthused, because again, Welcome Week is long and they didn't really want to be there. But I started to get emotional, because I remember sitting in those seats and opening that envelope with a little bit more enthusiasm and thinking, I'm determined to wear this. So, class of 2018, I'm proud of us for getting here and getting to wear these tassels. I'm proud of us for surviving late night studio sessions. And I'm proud of us for fielding all of our favorite questions. Questions like, you get to draw for homework? I wish I got to draw for homework. And, is it just like Project Runway? And like HGTV? And my personal favorite, can you design something for me? I can't pay you, but it'll be good for your portfolio. All of these questions come from the common misconception that what we do is easy. Designing for disabilities, addressing racial violence with costumes, color class, those aren't easy. Design is many things, but easy isn't one of them. Design is problem solving. Design is universal, or at least it should be. It should be designed with, not for, the communities that we work in. Let us not go forward designing what we think is needed, but what is asked of us. This is something we need to keep in mind, especially when working with marginalized and traditionally underrepresented communities. Intent is important, but impact is what matters. We design buildings, rooms, graphics, clothes. We design things, but those things are made for people. Always put the people first, because people matter. And it won't be easy, but we can't live our stereotype. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, not everybody can be famous, but everyone can be great, because greatness is determined by service. Designing with communities is our service. It is our responsibility as designers to address issues with solutions that do good, so that we may be great. Not only as designers, but as people, we should strive for greatness. So as we go forth, getting our big kid jobs in the so-called real world with more energy than we had 4 years ago, please remember that who we are as designers is not only dependent on our talents, but on what we do with them. So let's redesign that real world, this time prettier, this time with the people, this time great. Thank you.
Thank you, Benjamin, Sean, and Quinessa. College of Design alumni are key partners for the college. They are actively involved in their professions and serve to advise, advocate, and connect students and faculty to learning opportunities in public and private settings. They also provide critical expertise and perspective that keep our discovery, invention, teaching, and engagement scholarship relevant. In the College of Design, our alumni and student leaders work together to advance these important connections. I am pleased to introduce alumnus Eric Moss, President of our College of Design Student and Alumni Board.
Thank you, Dean Strohecker, and thank you to the 3 student speakers there. You all did a fantastic job. And thank you to all the parents and supporters in the audience this evening, especially to my parents who are out there. Mom, Dad, where are you? There's a lot of you. Oh, there you are. Hi. Dad, happy birthday. Mom, happy Mother's Day weekend. And a special Mother's Day wish to all the moms out there. I know the graduates are going to need a lot of claps today. Why don't we give a clap to all the moms? My name is Eric Moss. I'm the president of the College of Design Alumni Board, and I'm here to let all of the graduates here today know that when you earn your degree, you also earn a place in our community of over 15,000 design alumni worldwide. Now, I'm not sure how many of you know who Kenny Rogers is, because as I look down on all of you, I already feel old. But he has a song called The Greatest. That song focuses on a boy, a baseball bat, and his baseball. The song starts out with the young boy throwing the ball into the air, swings his bat around, the baseball falls to the ground. Young boy grits his teeth, grabs the baseball, again he throws the ball into the air. Ball goes spinning, comes back down, he swings the bat with all of his might, the ball again hits the ground. Facing 2 strikes, that boy now picks the ball up, tosses it again in the air, the world stands still, the sky is blue, he swings his bat with all of his might. Again, the ball hits the floor. That's strike 3. Just then in the song, the boy's mother calls out and tells him it's time to come home. The boy picks up his bat and his ball and says, "I am the greatest, but even I didn't know I could pitch that good." Much like the boy and his newfound pitching ability, you might find that your first, second, or third job applications, or actual jobs, don't quite work out as you once hoped. I'm here to tell you that's okay. Take a look around you, graduates. The classmates, or the people around you once called classmates, you can now call colleagues. And you'll want to stay connected, because when you find that it's time to swap that batter's box for a pitcher's mound, you can lean on them to assist. Sometimes it's not just what you know, but who you know. That's something I can give to my parents too. They always told me that growing up. With that, there are so many ways to tap into the alumni community after graduation. Whether you want to share and celebrate career news, continue your education, expand your professional network, find fresh inspiration, or get involved as a volunteer to share and grow your expertise, we are here for you. We hope you will become an active part of our amazing network of design alumni. As you prepare for your career, move to a new city or company, and look for ways to stay connected to the college and each other in the years to come. As you cross the stage, all the graduates will be receiving a small gift from the Design Alumni Society, along with more information to help you get started on your lifelong connection to the College of Design and the University of Minnesota. Congratulations to each of you, and welcome our newest design alumni.
Okay. Surprise.
That's right, isn't it? Yeah, okay, good. I'm Kate Maple. And I'm the lucky person who's the assistant dean, and I get to work with so many of these students. And I'm really happy that we're at the point where you're going to be able to see these students cross the stage. So a couple of things. Each year, a number of our undergraduates are distinguished by their significant academic achievement and program participation. In your program, you will see that these students have been identified with a notation behind their names. Undergrads who have completed the University Honors Program are recognized with Latin honors designators cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude behind their names. These students are wearing their University of Minnesota honors medallions. Students who have maintained a superior grade point average are recognized with distinction, wearing gold cords, or high distinction, wearing maroon cords. These students have demonstrated outstanding scholarships at the University of Minnesota. Students wearing purple commencement cords have successfully completed our President's Emerging Scholars Program. You will also note when we get to the graduate students that master's students are wearing hoods with their respective discipline colors. And then we will be hooding our PhD students for the finale. So also note that we have professional photographers taking photos of your graduates as they cross the stage, before they do and after they do. And students, you're getting a diploma cover. Your real diploma will arrive after the grades are posted and your degree is official. So our graduates are presented by academic program in alphabetical order. The students, the graduates, will be announcing their own names as they take to the stage. Please hold your applause until the end of each program. However, whoops and whistles and individual cheers are encouraged and expected. So now, we're starting with the apparel design program. Are you ready? You guys ready? You back there? They weren't ready. Okay. So, here we go.
Julie Anderson.
Jinkang Charlie Cao.
Holly Kuroda.
Caitlin Hartman.
Alyssa Johnson.
Emily Lorick.
Kai Ying Lee, Happy Mother's Day.
Kelsey Lee.
Kelsey is a candidate for distinction.
Ray Myers.
Ray is a candidate for distinction.
Bunkat Bibi Namnakan.
Rachel A. Strike. Lexine Shum.
Lexine is a candidate for distinction.
Emily Seifert.
Quinessa Stibbins.
Lauren Wren Tilbury.
Spencer Versteg.
Stephanie Wang.
Let's hear it for our apparel design graduates. Okay, we're moving on to Architecture Bachelor of Science program. Center stage, Mary Gazowski and Mark Swackhammer are there to congratulate the students. You ready?
Sharia Rio Bezavi. Mitchell Bazire. Paul Brennested.
Muhammadu Bamba Nene Sise, Talibi Siring Tuba.
Samuel Robert Cowley.
Hannah Marie Galkin.
Ryan Joseph Green.
Ryan Robert Hansen.
Ryan is a candidate for distinction and summa cum laude.
陈轩 Nero 和
何之行 Z.
Nicholas Paul Hennon.
Van Huang.
Nicholas Ole Hoffman.
Nicole Brittany Keel.
Nicole is a candidate for summa cum laude and distinction.
Peter John Kluzak.
Austin Ryan Cradwell.
Nicholas Lager.
Megan Lash.
Lindsay Rose Leon.
Yuan Li.
Alejandro Loza.
Jacqueline Yamchao.
Javelin is a candidate for distinction.
Wesley Pedersen.
Evan Pukal.
Cole Joseph Rederath.
Andrew Mark Schick.
David Swan.
David is a candidate for high distinction.
Killian Wilson.
Amy 童一萌。
杨义栋 Andrew.
杨雨桐。
于雪婷 Kili。
Tristan Zimprick.
Tristan is a President's Emerging Scholar.
邹帅.
Let's hear it for our Bachelor of Science in Architecture students. We're moving on to the Bachelor of Design in Architecture, the BDA. So center stage, Gayla Lint and Mark Swackhammer to congratulate the students.
Austin Robert Behrens. Matthew Bloodgood.
Megan Marie Blueflat. Jenna Marie Bolt.
Zachary Keith Bregeman.
Samuel Ryan Shaw.
Nathan Cruzrack.
Maya Daly Kramer.
Tyler DeYoung.
Judy Ann DeVera.
Sarah Dolsgraf.
Zhetao Dong.
Zed Tao is a candidate for distinction.
Lafayette Doty.
Fang Yujia.
Christine Fanto.
Josue Garcia.
Josue is a President's Emerging Scholar.
Eduardo Guzman. Anthony David Hall.
Nicholas Haslin.
He Minzhang, Min.
Molly Hinderaker.
Samuel Eli Johnson.
Samuel is a candidate for high distinction.
Mohsen Kokar.
Samantha Kowalski.
Raymond J. Laura.
Liu Pichen.
Mao Siyu.
Jordan Heather K. Medeiros.
Jordan is a candidate for high distinction.
Keaton Kalan Nemish.
Eben Peterson. Eben Peterson.
Rebecca Joy Peterson. Chloe Olivia Sackett.
Chloe is a candidate for distinction and summa cum laude.
Caitlin Grace Sandkamp. Cassandra K. Schmid. Haley Thomas Coleman.
David Adam Wacker.
And those are our Bachelors of Design in Architecture. Now we have our BFAs in Graphic Design. And to the center stage, Sue Chu and Missy Bai. You ready, Artem?
Artem Anderson.
Laura Andrew. Vanessa Berglund.
Jingru Chen. Li Wei Chen.
Aaron Chung.
Aaron is a candidate for distinction.
Courtney Karen Culver.
Okay, now Courtney's graduating with an art BA, but this was the ceremony that her family could come to. And she started in our college, and she's one of our design minors.
Kate Doyle.
Braden Duxon.
Kaylee Erdahl. Annie Erickson.
Anthony Gualiardo. Will Hansen.
Hannah Herrig.
Hannah is a candidate for high distinction.
Caitlin Haywood.
Caitlin is a candidate for distinction.
Jamie Halkinen. Sydney Jacobson.
Sydney is a candidate for distinction.
Aaron Kiefer.
Aaron is a candidate for distinction.
Dana Kingery. Jenna Kirkbride. Stevie Lee Locker. Allison Nicole Long. Shannon Mary Lopresti. Alyssa Malin Lotspe.
Teresa Lund.
Teresa's a candidate for distinction.
Kelly Lynch.
Cirano Suarez.
Madeline Marino.
Megan McDilda.
Luke Michaels.
Aaron Molstead.
Aaron is a candidate for distinction.
Jade Mulcahy.
Rishi Murugesan.
Hongfa Malanora Singh.
Anne Paoletti. Ashley Marie Four. Jenna Pravatsky.
Jenna is a candidate for distinction and summa cum laude.
Brianne Prodal.
Ellen Pulse. Aaron Ramsey.
Nathan Royce.
Jesse Sanctionta.
Jesse is a President's Emerging Scholar.
Lana Barbara Schauer.
Elizabeth Caitlin Schneider.
Hans Slade.
Hans is a candidate for distinction.
Lauren Smith. Dana Strachan. Laurel Tiemann.
Laurel is a candidate for high distinction and summa cum laude.
Andrew Tompton.
Aaliyah Townsend.
Aaliyah is candidate for distinction and summa cum laude.
Anna Van Veldhuizen.
Anna's a candidate for cum laude.
Caleb Vandenboom.
Yi Vang. Brianna Vick.
Brianna's a candidate for distinction.
Lissa Ton Vo.
Lissa is a President's Emerging Scholar.
Cora Winberg.
Hut Fumisai Zhang.
Jennifer Young.
Lin Xuezheng.
David Zemer.
Let's give it up for the graphic design graduates. Okay, we're moving on to housing studies. So Becky Eust and Missy Bai. You ready, Riley?
The one and only.
Riley Ann Bonk.
Okay, let's hear it for Riley. She's our only housing graduate. Moving on to interior design, Bachelor of Science. So congratulating the graduates are the program director, Abimbola Asojo, and department head, Missy Bai. Ready, Morgan?
Morgan Altman. Bethany Bertram.
Emily Bjerkebeck.
Lori Brockman.
Kara Brink.
Michaela Coleman.
Jennifer Erickson.
Rebecca Franzen.
Emily Gavel.
Rachel Hoffman.
Anna Holmes.
Emily Hunt.
Woo woo! Kaylin Hernenko.
Margaret Johnson.
Margaret is a candidate for cum laude.
Rhea Yorgashi.
Maggie Mae Kasner.
Erin Cloth. Claire Lassegard.
Raina Malcolmson. Olivia Mason.
Miranda McNamara.
Miranda is a President's Emerging Scholar.
Stephanie Nardi.
Allison Nowaski.
Allison is a President's Emerging Scholar.
Nicole Schwamberger. Gina Marie Shuck.
Lexi Marie Sasala.
Lexi is a candidate for distinction.
Lauren Stromquist.
Natalie Glenn Tupy. Elizabeth Williamson.
And that wraps up our interior designers. Next up, our landscape design and planning Bachelor of Environmental Design students, and congratulating them, Brad Agee and Joe Favor. Ready, Dakota?
Dakota Carlson.
David Robert Diamond.
Emma Louise Ingberg.
Evan Robert Magnus Furr.
Emily Norcus. Sydney Shea.
Sydney's a candidate for high distinction.
沈玉伟。Takara Thomas.
Amber Ann Wickenhauser.
And those are our landscape design and planning students. We're moving on to product design, Bachelor of Science. So Barry Kudrowitz and Missy Bai, center stage. Ingrid?
Ingrid Carroll.
Peyton Garcia.
Benjamin James Krause.
Benjamin Lipam.
Miranda Camille Meyer.
Sarah K. Prescott.
Qing Danling.
Jimmy Rafter.
Jimmy also completed the Bachelor of Design in Architecture.
And
Nathan Joseph from Portal.
let's hear it for those product designers. We're moving on to the retail merchandising graduates. So Young Kim and Missy Bai, center stage. Elizabeth, you ready?
Elizabeth Anderson.
Abigail Barr. Elizabeth Bain. Maria Benson.
Maria with distinction.
Niharika Bondolapati. Amber Burnham.
Madeline Marie Bussey.
Madeline is graduating with military honors.
Yi Ching Chung.
Yi Chung is a candidate for distinction.
Alicia Rose Crane Floor.
Margaret Crow. Abigail Jean Demuse.
Rebecca Mary Depke. Erin Kathleen Dome. Kaya Soon Fonstock. Haley Flink.
Brady Foster.
Haley Fraze. Allie Fry.
Allie is graduating with high distinction.
Caitlin Fuller.
Caitlin is a President's Emerging Scholar.
Maria Elena Kathleen Rosa Gambino. Maggie Garbrecht.
Meredith Louise Gould.
Abby Grunwald. Rachel Gunther.
Maria Bethany Hawk.
Maria is a candidate for distinction and a President's Emerging Scholar.
Andrea Heil. Clara Hermes.
Clara is a President's Emerging Scholar.
Katie Holmes. Oh,
Santra Nguyen. Grace Jurley. Brittany Morgan Canduth. Madeline Laminin. Taylor Bavwa Lee. Anya Melby.
Jack Moore.
Melissa Jade Mortensen.
Brittany Kane Airing.
Brittany is a President's Emerging Scholar.
David Sean Newton.
Madison Nyhus.
Amanda Phillips.
Mitchell Pearson.
Mackenzie Plain.
Валерия Сергеевна Попова. Kayla Samuel.
Emma Schultz. Sydney Simon.
Cecilia Shoquist.
Ellen Snyder. Jordan Storm. Lindsay Tradewell.
Keenan Walsh.
Annie Wang Zeling.
Laura Waylagi.
Molly Wertheimer. Sarah Williams.
Catherine Christina Onrow.
Catherine is graduating with distinction.
Let's hear it for our retail merchandising students. And all our students graduating with bachelor's degrees. We're moving on to the graduate programs. So we're starting with the Masters of Architecture. Blaine Brownell, Director of Graduate Studies, and Mark Swackhammer, Department Head, center stage to congratulate. Jeffrey, are you ready?
I think so.
All right.
Jeffrey Aviles.
Danny Bain.
Sam Busman.
Pratibha Chauhan.
Pratibha is a Master's Final Project Student Choice Award and the Richard Morrill Master's Final Project Award and the Thomas F. Ellerby Scholarship.
Corinne Dager.
Shi Fang.
Suzanne Flode.
Sean J. Gable.
Sarah Gassler.
Xiaohan Gu.
Jessica Holmes.
Umni Ibrahim.
Neil Kent. Zijie Ling.
Goldilyn Lopez.
Joseph David Mills.
Joseph is recipient of the Thomas F. Ellerby Scholarship.
Claire Olson. Sarah Powers.
Sarah is recipient of the Richard Morrill Master's Final Project Award.
Becky Chu.
Chris Savage.
Elizabeth Virginia Devine Schmiesing.
And Lin Xiao Shu, Nero.
Big up Jamaica, big up the graduates. Savannah Steelman, walk the stage, man.
Isaac Tapp.
Isaac is recipient of the Richard Morrill Master's Final Project Award.
Nathaniel Lawrence Tellefson.
Thomas Robert Vogel.
Adam Voth.
Jonathan Stephen Wold.
徐天瑶。Ellie Ziayi.
Wei Can Zuo.
Wei Tong is recipient of the Master's Final Project Student Choice Award and the Richard Morrill Master's Final Project Award.
Let's hear it for those Masters of Architecture students. We're moving on to the Architecture MS.
Alejandra Cervantes Enríquez.
Takashi Chiba.
Alicia del Carmen Freire Yagual.
Allie Nystrom.
Neeraja Umesh Panda.
Dustin Shipper.
Cato Stanger.
Vanessa Walton.
And that's the end of our Architecture Master's graduates, and we're moving on to our Design Master of Arts. So, center stage, Barb Martinson and Missy Bai. Nika, are you ready?
Nika Gagliardi. Jess Lambert.
And now we've got one Design Master of Fine Arts student.
Chikako Shibold.
And now for our Master of Science in Design.
Robert Pettis Baker.
Randy T. Pierce.
Ahmed Sakib Sina.
Is that the end of our? Okay, let's hear it for our Design Master's students. Now we have our Master of Science students in Human Factors. So, Director of Graduate Studies, Kathleen Harder, center stage. Helen, ready?
Helen Frances Barford.
Benjamin Bontrager.
Francis Jedrzejewski. Swati Sood.
And that concludes our Human Factors Master's students. And now on to Master of Landscape Architecture. Joe Favor and Christine Miller are congratulating. You ready?
志运成.
Maria Nell Grina.
Claire Hoffman. Leslie Ann Johnson.
Liu Fei.
Wei Yu Miao.
Jennifer Muller.
Luke Nichols.
Luke is recipient of the Capstone Award.
Linda Spohr.
Christopher Stika.
Ginny Torzeski.
Rachel Lynn Valenziano.
Rachel is recipient of the Capstone Award.
Alan Van Deen.
Alan is recipient of the Capstone Award.
And that concludes our Masters of Landscape Architecture students. And now, we're going to hood our PhD students. So we will have the advisor center stage, and that will be Brad Hokinson. Not yet. And our first PhD student is Sarah Alfala. Our next student is Hyun Bang and Marilyn DeLong. Her advisor will hood her. Our next student is Robin Caraful, and Missy Bai will hood her. Next, Barb Martinson will hood Jessica Harjo. Our next PhD graduate is Nokyeon Kim, and she will be hooded by Missy Bai. Next, Maureen Monholland, hooded by Becky Eust. Next, Sharuk Nahas, hooded by Barbara Martinson. Next, Sangha Song will be hooded by Juan Wu. Claire Wang will be hooded by Hunju Im. Those are our PhD graduates with a Doctor of Philosophy in Design. And now, to hood our Doctor of Philosophy in Human Factors, Zane Thimish-Gill, is Kathleen Harder. And that is all our graduates. What a great group. Let's give them all a big hand. Yeah.
Thank you, Kate, for guiding our students through their academic programs and in this commencement of their lives and careers. They are not the only ones commencing an important next phase. Kate Maple will soon be retiring from the University of Minnesota after 30 years of exemplary service. A quietly effective professional known for her elegance and selfless dedication to students, Kate will be sorely missed. We wish her the very best as she embarks on experiments with pigments and other creative pursuits. Thank you so much for joining us today. I ask that the audience remain seated until the degrees have been conferred and the faculty and students have completed their exit procession. And then, please join your students for a reception on Northrop Plaza. Here to confer the students' degrees is Regent Kendall Powell, the former chairman and chief executive officer of General Mills, where he served in a variety of positions since 1979. Powell spent more than a third of his career overseas. He serves on the board of directors for Medtronic, the Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis, Greater MSP, the Grocery Manufacturers Association, and the Minnesota Business Partnership. Powell received a Bachelor of Arts degree in biology from Harvard and an MBA from Stanford University. He'll share with us some special familial connections to the University of Minnesota.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to one of all. Dean Stroker, thank you for inviting me to the presentation this afternoon. And Nancy and Tom, thank you for those absolutely lovely remarks. Thank you very much for being with us today. And I should add that the most important women in my life, my wife and my two daughters, all have degrees from the University of Minnesota, business, CLA, and music. So well represented. So to all of you graduates, congratulations. We are honoring your work today, your efforts through your talent, but also, and maybe mostly, through your hard work, your determination. You have earned this. So we celebrate your academic accomplishments, but also the potential that you have to make such a great difference in the next stage of your lives. And we trust and we hope that you're going to contribute to your communities, to the state, the nation, the world. And to all of the families and the friends sitting here, thank you so very much for the countless ways you've supported your students as they earned these academic degrees. And so with that, will all the graduates please rise? So, upon the recommendation of the faculty and by the authority of the regents, I now confer upon you the degrees for which you have qualified. Congratulations to every single one of you.
Oh, don't sit down yet. Regent Powell, thank you. And finally, graduates, would you please rise, turn around, and give your family and friends a big round of applause. Family and friends, let's hear it for the College of Design class of 2018.